Hello, everyone. Welcome to Speak English with Spark. I am Jennifer.
And I am John. We are happy you are here today.
Today, we talk about something very special. It is about a 7-day challenge.
That is right. The topic is shadowing for 7 days. My English changed completely.
That is a big statement, John. Completely?
Yes, it really feels different now. But for our new listeners, what is shadowing?
It is a simple method. You listen to a native speaker and you repeat exactly what they say. You copy them like a shadow.
Oh, I see. Before this week, I had a big problem. I knew the words, but I could not speak them fast. It was very frustrating.
I understand. Many learners have this problem. They know grammar, but their mouth is not ready.
That is why you told me to try shadowing.
Exactly. But did you believe it would work?
To be honest, no. I thought, is it really that easy? It sounded too simple to work.
Many people think that. But you said yes to the challenge.
I did. I promised to do it for 7 days. I was a little nervous.
That is normal. Every big journey starts with one small step. So, how was the first day? Was it hard?
Oh, it was very hard. My mouth felt tired. I was speaking too slow.
That is normal for the first day. Your mouth needs practice to move in new ways.
Yes, I sounded very funny. I felt like a little baby learning to speak.
It's okay. It's a part of the process. What happened on day 2?
On day 2, I stopped looking at the written words. I just listened and tried to copy the sound exactly. It was better.
Let's talk about day 3. That is usually when it gets difficult for many people.
Yes, you are right. On day 3, I really wanted to stop.
Oh no, why was that?
I felt a little silly talking to myself. I did not think I was getting better.
That happens to everyone. It is a normal feeling. Did you give up?
No, I did not. I kept going. I wanted to see the result.
Good for you, John. Persistence is the most important part of learning. What about day 4?
Day 4 was the turning point. That is when I started to really enjoy it.
That is great to hear. Why did you start enjoying it?
Well, the words felt more natural in my mouth. They did not feel like strange, difficult sounds anymore.
I know that feeling well. It is when your brain finally connects with your voice.
Yes, it was like a fun game. I tried hard to copy the speed of the speaker.
That is wonderful. Did you find it easier to keep up on that day?
Yes, much easier. Before, I was always behind. But on day 4, I felt like I was running together with the speaker.
Running with the speaker. I like that image, John.
It was a very good day for my confidence.
Let's talk about day 5. You told me you felt a big change then. What happened?
On day 5, I noticed I was copying the music of the language. You know, the high and low sounds.
That is amazing. We call that intonation. It is very important for sounding natural.
Yes, it felt like singing. Before, I was only reading the words. Now I was really playing with the sound.
It makes a huge difference. It makes you sound much more like a native speaker.
Then came day 6. I decided to try something harder. I shadowed a movie scene.
Wow, that is a big step. Movie English is very different from book English. How was it?
It was very fast. The characters spoke so quickly. At first, I felt lost.
Did you stop the video to breathe?
No, I did not. I just kept going. I listened and repeated the lines many times. By the end of the day, I could actually follow them.
I am so happy to hear that. That is real progress. We are at the end now. What about day 7, the final day of your big challenge?
Day 7 was great. I spoke to my friend in English on the phone. I felt very confident.
That is amazing. Did you have to stop and think about grammar rules while you were talking?
No, I did not. Before, I always stopped to check my grammar in my head. But on day 7, I just spoke the words.
That is the main goal. It is about flow and rhythm, not just rules.
Exactly. My speaking is not perfect yet, of course, but it is much better than it was last week.
You sound very happy with your progress.
I am. It feels like a heavy weight is off my shoulders. I really feel like I can communicate better now.
So, if our listeners want to start this journey, what is the first step they should take?
It is very simple. Find a short video first, maybe just 1 or 2 minutes long. It needs to be something you really enjoy.
That is a great tip. You should not choose something too fast or difficult, right?
Yes, exactly. If the video is too fast, he will feel frustrated. I made that mistake many times before.
So, what kind of video is the best for beginners? A news report or a story?
A story is usually better. They use common words and show a lot of emotion. It really helps with the rhythm of the language.
That is true. And what about the topic?
Choose something you like. If you love cooking, watch a short cooking video. If you love travel, watch a travel video. It keeps you interested.
That makes sense. If you like the topic, you will want to practice more.
Exactly. If you are bored, you will stop. But if you have fun, you will keep going.
Okay, you have your video. Now, tell me, how do you actually shadow?
It is simple. Listen to one short sentence. Then pause the video. Repeat it out loud. That is it.
Just that?
Yes. Just listen and repeat. Copy the speed, copy the sound. Try to copy the emotion too.
What if I make a mistake? What if I say it wrong?
Do not worry about mistakes. Nobody is perfect. If you get it wrong, just try it again. It is not a test.
How many times should I repeat one sentence?
Maybe 3 or 4 times. Sometimes I repeat it 10 times until it sounds right.
That is a lot of practice.
It is, but it helps. It trains your mouth to move in the right way. It gets easier every time.
You said you did this for 7 days, but some people say they are very busy. They think they need many hours for this practice. Is that true?
No, that is not true at all. I only practiced for 10 minutes every day.
Only 10 minutes? Really? Is that enough to change your English?
Yes, 10 minutes of focus is much better than 1 hour of distracted practice.
That is very good advice. It is often hard to find an hour in the day, but 10 minutes is easy for anyone.
Exactly. I did it in my room while getting ready for work in the morning. It was so easy to fit into my schedule.
That makes it much harder to have an excuse, doesn't it?
Yes, no more excuses. Just 10 minutes a day, and you will see the results.
Many of our listeners are afraid to practice speaking out loud. They're worried about what others think.
I understand that completely. In the beginning, I felt very shy. I was worried that my roommates or neighbors would hear me.
That is a very normal feeling. It is hard to speak freely when you think people are listening.
It is. For the first few days, I spoke very quietly, like a whisper. I did not want anyone to know I was talking to myself.
That is a great strategy. You can practice anywhere if you just keep your voice low.
Exactly. One day, I even practiced in my car while parked outside. It was the perfect place.
That is brilliant. Nobody can hear you in your car, right?
No one at all. It gave me the freedom to speak as loud as I wanted and make funny sounds without feeling silly.
So, if you feel shy, just find a private place to start.
Yes, do not let your fear stop you. You really need to speak out loud to improve. Let's be honest, John. Sometimes we work very hard, but we feel like we are not moving forward. Do you know that feeling? Yes, I know it very well. It happened to me on day 5. I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over.
And did you want to stop then?
Yes, I did. I thought, this is not helping. I was very frustrated. What did you do to keep going? I told myself to take a short break. I drank some water, then I tried again. A break is very important. Sometimes your brain is just tired. Exactly. After the break, the next time I practiced, it was much easier.
Good. Sometimes you just need a little time for your brain to understand the new sounds.
That is right. I am glad I did not give up.
Let's talk about the source material. Should our listeners change the video every day?
That is a great question. At first, I changed the video every single day.
Was that a good idea?
No, it was not. It was actually very hard. I felt like I was always starting from zero.
So, what did you do differently after that?
I stayed with the same video for 3 days. It made a very big difference.
Why did that help?
Well, my brain started to remember the sentences. I did not have to think about the words anymore. I could focus only on the sound.
That makes so much sense. It is like listening to a song you love. By the third time, you know every word by heart.
Exactly. Once you know the text, you can really copy the rhythm and the feeling. It becomes much easier to shadow.
That is great advice. Listeners, stay with one video for a few days before you change it.
Yes. Do not rush. Take your time with one video. It helps a lot.
John, I see a common mistake many learners make. They try to copy the speaker too fast.
Yes, I did that on the first day. I tried to talk as fast as the audio. It was a bad idea.
And what happened when you tried to go that fast?
I felt very tired and I sounded like a robot. I could not even finish the sentence.
That's because you forgot about the pauses.
Exactly. Native speakers stop to breathe. They do not just speak one long, fast line.
So what is the best way to fix this?
Listen for the pause. When the speaker stops for a second, you stop too.
That makes it much more natural.
Yes, it really does. Don't rush. Your speed will come with time, but clarity is more important.
One last tip about the process. Should our listeners record their own voices?
That is a very smart idea. I did it on day 5 and day 6 of the challenge.
Was it scary to hear your own voice for the first time?
Oh, yes. At first, I really hated it. I sounded so strange.
I understand. We all feel that way. But did it help you learn?
It really did. When I heard my own voice, I knew exactly what to fix. I heard my own mistakes very clearly.
That is true. It is hard to hear your mistakes while you are speaking, but it is easy to hear them in a recording.
Exactly. It is like using a mirror for your voice.
John, tell me, how did this method change your vocabulary? Many people struggle to remember new words.
That is a great question. Before, I always studied long lists of words. I usually forgot them very quickly.
I know that feeling well. It is very boring to just memorize lists, right?
Yes, it is. But with shadowing, I learned phrases. I did not just learn separate words.
Ah, that is a huge difference. You learn how words work together in real life.
Exactly. For example, I learned phrases like get up or turn on. I did not have to memorize the grammar rules. I just heard them.
You learn them naturally by hearing them many times in the story.
Yes, and because I heard them in context, I remember them much better now.
That is the best way to build your vocabulary for everyday situations.
It feels much more useful and natural than just reading a dictionary.
John, after those 7 days, do you feel different when you use English?
I do. Before, I always worried about being perfect. I was afraid to make mistakes.
That is common. Many students feel that way.
Yes. But now, I do not worry about being perfect. I only want to be understood.
That is a very important change. It makes everything much easier.
It really does. I stop trying to translate everything in my head. I just listen and speak.
That is the best way to gain fluency. You are doing great, John. You finished the 7-day challenge, John. But what about tomorrow? Are you going to stop?
Oh, no. I want to keep going. I really like this new habit.
That is wonderful. It is not just for 1 week, right?
Right. It is for my whole life. I want to speak better every single day.
Consistency is the most important thing. Do you plan to use new videos next week?
Yes. Maybe a video about travel or a story. I want to keep learning new things.
John, one final question for you. What advice do you have for the people listening today who feel scared to start?
I would say, just start today. You do not need to be perfect to begin.
That is so true. Everyone starts as a beginner.
Exactly. Everyone makes mistakes at the start. The only way to improve is to practice a little bit every day.
And what if they have a bad day where they feel like they are not improving?
Just try again the next day. It is a long journey, but it is a very fun one. Just keep going.
Well, we are out of time for today. Thank you for listening to our story.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you start your own 7-day challenge today.
You really can do it. Just take it one day at a time.
Yes. Don't wait until tomorrow. Start right now.
Goodbye, everyone. See you next time on Speak English with Spark.
Bye-bye.